Hi Floss Tube, it's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today I'm just recording the beginning and ending of a video that I've already recorded previously, so the clothes are going to change just a little bit. I'm trying to keep ahead so you have something to see while I'm on vacation. But it's horribly confusing for my small little pea brain. I'm like, okay, what am I doing and what video am I doing it for and what was the question and do I need a question and what were the really hard for my pea brain to do this. I don't know if I will do this once I'm back from vacation because I just find it very confusing. So hopefully it will be a seamless transition for you guys, and it's only me that's going to be confused. Anyway, so this I'm going to respond to questions, and the question of the week from video number 145 is the one I think I'm responding to in this, and I had some questions from people, and I'm going to start there. All right, and I have to read it off of a piece of paper because. So DJ mentioned, Dan has that clock we've talked about, and how he hasn't been able to find a ship, and I've had several people send me suggestions, and so far he hasn't found one that, you get those things in your head, and he hasn't found one that's matching what's in his head that will fit in that small opening. So she mentioned the ship on Long Dog's Anzac, I think is how you say that. I haven't shown it to him yet, but I will, and he hasn't seen it yet. And in the same kind of question, Paula asked, what is the smallest thread count that Dan will stitch on? He will stitch on 40 count. He does not like to stitch on 40 count. He likes to stitch with 2 threads. I think he's nuts. I am currently stitching with 2 threads, and I am not enjoying it. Everything is just so bulky. But he prefers 32 count is his favorite. But he will stitch on 36 and 40 if he needs to, which he's going to have to make something as detailed as what he wants for that clock. So, I don't know. So those were the 2 questions that I had. And then Darlene, I just wanted to say I'm looking forward to seeing you again in July. I will be back from vacation by the time you're in town, so I will see you on that Wednesday, I hope. Have a safe trip. Okay, then there's the responses to the question of the week, which was, how do you store your flosses? How do you store and organize your flosses? All over the board, which I knew it would be. I personally was surprised at how many people are still bobbinating. It is a very good way to have a compact system of storage for your floss. And I did it for years. I don't do it anymore because of I just don't like the time involved to get it on the bobbin and the kinks in it, which, yes, you can lightly run it over a damp paper towel and get the kinks out, or you can run it through your curling iron or flat iron real quick, but I'm lazy. I don't want to. But that's everybody's gonna like something different. It was very interesting to read the responses, and I hope you all took the time to read them. There weren't that many. I think there were only 32 comments, so there weren't that many to read through. But I found it very interesting. So I do thank you for taking the time out of your busy day to answer the questions. So I appreciate it. And I think that's all I have for the beginning. So let's move on to the next chart of the week. Good morning, Floss Tube. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching. Today is, I've already said it once today, it is Thursday. It is the 8th of June. And this is Chart of the Week video number 146. I'm recording it the same day as 145, so that's why the clothes are the same. The very beginning will be probably a different outfit. The very ending will probably be a different outfit. I'm just trying to get the middle part done as long as I have time, and I'm ready to go. So here we go. In the last Chart of the Week video, I had talked about a gal who had contacted me as to whether I was comfortable, excuse me, Kelly Stitches, if I was comfortable changing colors on a chart, because she had a chart from JBW that she wanted the birds to pop a little more than what it looked like it was going to on the fabric that she had. And what the fabric called for is espresso. I do not have espresso. It is a very light, at least the espresso that I had when I had it, was a very light colored, cream colored fabric. And in looking at this picture, it is hard to see the birds. So it is Eliza's birds from JBW. And I agree that picture, it's very hard to see the birds on it. Part of it, I think, is the picture. But part of it is, I think, the fabric itself is a little bit light. Just my opinion. Don't come for me. I do think it's the fabric is too light, and I think that is the problem more than what the colors are the problem, because the colors are quite pretty. Do I have? Hang on just a second. Background. The colors are quite pretty, and none of them are particularly light, except for this is part of the bird color, and it is a little on the lighter side. So if you were doing it on a lighter colored fabric and it's only using one strand because it calls for 36 count, yeah, it might be a little bit of an issue. So the easier solution, instead of changing the bird color, would be to change the color of the fabric. Now, if you were here in the shop and you looked at me and you said, no, I want the birds darker, I would try and work on that for you. Over the phone or via email, it's just because you're not there telling me what you like and what you don't like, it's a little bit harder for me. So then I would probably encourage you to just go with changing the fabric color. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you options that I think will work with these colors and make the birds stand out a little more. The bigger problem with this chart, and I don't usually like to say negative things about people's charts. This is twice though in recent videos. Is you can't see it. I mean, I'm going to put it way back here, but I can't see it. Even if I put my 4.0 readers on, it's very difficult to read this chart. I tried taking a picture of it and blowing it up, to maybe put it into my stitching program thing, and it gets blurry because you have to blow it up so much. So that is the bigger issue, in my opinion, with this chart, is that it is too hard to read, especially if you have older eyes like me. Use this chart, like I said, the stitch count is 76 by 93, so it's not very large. It calls for 36 count R&R espresso. It uses a mix of Classic Colorworks and Weeks Dye Works, and then 2 DMC. And that's about all I have to say about that. So let us start in with colors. And like I said, I think if you just were to darken up the fabric a little bit, this is old stationery from Seraphim. They're all going to pop out quite well. That cobbled peach there, not a problem. You're going to see that bird. I really like it on that. To me, this looks really antique-y, and I tend to like my antique bird pictures on more of a green fabric for some reason. So I've got a couple of different greens to show you. The first one is Parchment. This would not be my first choice, but it is a green, and I just wanted to show you. Now, it's not a parchment color that I would, I mean, parchment to me should be brown, but this is green. This is from Fiber on a Whim. You're going to want to make sure you've got the contrast between these greens and your fabric, and this is more of a yellowy green, so these greens will show up just fine. But again, your cobbled peach bird will show up also. Moss. This is a 28 count moss Lugana from Seraphim. And again, this is going to show up nicely on that fabric. Dulce de Leche is one of my go-tos for my birds. It's a mixture of greens and browns, and it just looks kind of old and weathered to me. This particular batch is a 36 count, and this is a Fiber on a Whim color. And that's really pretty. Really pretty. If you like green. Which we all know I do. A little more neutral. This is a 14 count Country French Golden Needle, which has green undertones in it, but it would look just fine, and your birds would show up on that. There's another greenish color. It's called Boardwalk. It's an 18 count Ada from Color and Cotton. It's not as yellowy, but it's also lighter in color, so your greens are going to be fine on there. Let's try and spread that out a little bit because begonia is getting lost. There. That would look fine. A little more neutral, but still with some green undertone. 32 count Summer Khaki from Zweigart. I like that one. This one's a little bit out of the box, not too far out of the box, but a little bit. It's Silver Fox from Fiber on a Whim. It is a 28 count Lugana. kind of a bluish color. It would totally change the look of the piece, but I think it would be pretty. It would kind of look like the sky behind it. And as you can see, all the colors popped nicely on there. And then, last but not least, is a little bit of a lesson. So you can learn something. So I really like the colors on the 18 count Atypical Ada from Mystic Fabrics. It's got a lot of brown in it, but it also has the hints of the pinks. But I don't know that your bird is going to show up as well as some other choices, but I think it would be very pretty, and I think it will show up. It's just not gonna, because it's got plenty of brown in it, in parts of it. Parts of it are lighter and they don't. But I still think the birds would show up. They're just not gonna show up as well. But and when you get into the linen, there's not near as much brown in the Atypical. So I just thought I would show you kind of, now this is 32 count and it's a little closer to the Ada. It has a little more brown than, I think it's 36 that I have also. And I'm going to show the 36 too. So I think you're going to like these though. It's light enough, but it's got enough darkness that I think the birds would show up. But they're all a little bit different, and there's also, you know, like this side, although it doesn't look like it, is much lighter than this side. So you'd kind of have to hope that you get the right portion of this if you really want that bird to pop. But I like the, you know, the pinky splotching in it. I think it goes well with the colors. But see, if you got, you know, you got this area here, obviously it's not going to look as good as this area over here. So just a note of caution on that particular color is I think it could be very, very pretty, but you're also going to have to watch where you get it from. And you can't always, you know, like if you're calling in and ordering, may not be a section of that fabric that I've got cut that would work. If that made any sense. I don't know. So I would probably choose one of the others just to be more on the safe side if I really wanted my birds to stand out. But I wanted to show this as an option because I think it could be very pretty. And I still think that cobbled peach would show up. So at least that dye lot. Because as we know, dye lots matter these days. They change a lot from dye lot to dye lot. So you always have to be aware of that when you're choosing your fabric. I don't know how you do it when you don't have an LNS near that you can go and look at the fabric. I guess you'd have to build a relationship with someone online and trust that they're gonna, you know, if you tell them, hey, it's for this and I'm a little concerned about this showing up, you know, maybe they would be able to keep that in mind for you. I know I would try and keep it in mind if the customer said something. I'm not a mind reader, so if you just called and said, oh, hey, I want this fabric, and you didn't say, but I want to make sure that that cobbled peach shows up really good. You know, yeah, you'd have to actually say that. So, okay, that's all I have to show for that particular chart. I'm just going to save this, like I said, until I'm ready to do the opening and closing on it. So it will morph into that next. So later. Guys, I just recorded the whole ending for this video and forgot to hit the record button. Oh God, my brain is toast. So, hey, how'd you like the video? I hope you enjoyed it. This is the third time I'm recording this actually, but the second time went really smoothly, except for I forgot to record it. So let's start with the question of the week for this week, which comes from my friend Donna, which is how we all refer to her anymore. She said if she ever does a Floss Tube video, her channel name would be My Friend Donna. So this is from Donna. She would like to know, which designer do you have the most charts of? And without actually going through my charts, I'm just mentally thinking, what do I have the most of? I would have to probably say With Thy Needle and Thread, followed closely by La-Di-Da and Plum Street. But I'm kind of all over the place. I like a little bit of everything. That's a very hard question to ask without doing research. And if I was a more organized person, I would have that information in that X-Stitch app where you can put all your stuff in that you have, and then I could just look and say, oh, well, I've got the most in that. I'm not that person. I want to be that person, but I'm not that person. So I'll be interested to see if you can answer that question easily. And looking at the walls doesn't really help me, because it's what I have stitched is not necessarily the same thing as what I have in my stash. Not necessarily. Because I think La-Di-Da would probably beat out With Thy Needle and Thread if we're going by what I've actually stitched. But I don't know. Anyway, I'll be interested to hear your responses. So please leave a comment below. I only had like 32 comments. I may have said that already. I don't know what I've said and what I haven't already. There were only like 32 comments last time, so let's try and do better. Let's get to 40. We can do 40. I'm sure you can. Let's see. What else have I said? I'm recording this on the 24th of June. I leave for vacation on the 26th of June. I have posted the vacation hours because Connie's going to cover for me. She's going to be house sitting, so she's going to come in a few days, but they're limited hours. So they're on the Facebook page. They're on the calendar page of the website. They're posted on the door here. I changed to Google, and I'll leave a message on the machine. So I think I've covered all my bases. Hopefully, if you're coming into town from out of town, you either watch these videos or you'll call before you come, because it's a holiday. I did have some people in this week that said that this was the first time I've actually been open when they've come to town. Every other time I've been closed. So it's the thing. Every year, this time of year, I leave. So Katie's riding with me. My niece Katie is riding with me to take care of the puking dog. Dan's dog has terrible motion sickness, and even though we give her anti-nausea She still vomits. We're going to add in Dramamine this year and hope that that helps. And I know I could knock her completely out, but it's really only a 3.5 to 4 hour drive. And I hate to knock her out for that short amount of time of driving. She'd still be loopy the rest of the day, and that's not what I want to do. So we'll just deal with some vomit, and I've got puppy pads that will keep her on, so when she does vomit, it's not onto my car seat or to Katie, and we'll just go. I've spent the last weekend pre-cooking. I'm gonna do a lot of pre-cooking this weekend, and because I'm not cooking on vacation. We will reheat stuff, but we are not cooking this time. We're just reheating because it's vacation, and I intend to just do not a whole lot, reading and stitching and watching everybody else fish, because I'm not a fisher person, and I have no desire to fish. So I'll just watch them out the window while I'm inside. The weather looks like it's going to be pretty good. So we might not be so in such bad shape without air conditioning, because it doesn't look like it's going to get real hot unless they change the weather. It'll be hot, but it's not going to be up near 100 like it was 2 years ago. Yeah, that's about all I know. I will be back in the shop on probably the 7th of July. Probably the 7th of July, barring any unforeseen issues. And we have stitching on the 8th. And we've got stitching today, so things are going to get busy here pretty quick, so I should probably wrap this up. I had intended to record another chart of the week video, but that's not going to happen unless I stay after today, and I don't know that I have time to stay after today with everything I've got to get done. So I think that's probably going to do it, especially since this is the third time. I don't know if I've covered everything or not, but you guys have a happy and safe 4th of July, and I will see you in the next video. We're going to hope this one takes. So take care. Bye-bye.